What I want to talk about next is what is mechatronics engineering exactly, and it's a bit of a merge, a combination of several engineering disciplines actually. So it combines the disciplines of computer engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, and what my background is in is control systems engineering. And this diagram here sort of shows the intersection of all these different components that make up mechatronics engineering. And then around the outside of this ring is sort of some of the industries in which mechatronics engineers are needed and are working today. And the term that I think is best put by Kevin Craig from Hofstra University is mechatronics is really a multidisciplinary systems engineering for the 21st century. So as we have more networking and more computing power, more and more of our devices now need to have all of these sort of pieces combined to be able to function in today's industries. So one sort of classic example of a mechatronic system is the classic turntable. So this is a record player. Many of you probably have never even seen one of these, but this is sort of how music has been played for a number of decades now. And this diagram on the right of this turntable shows sort of the engineering components of the device. And it has all the necessary pieces sort of a mechatronic system. So it has motors which make parts move. It has sensors that can measure things like the speed of the turntable. It has electronics and computing power that allow you to program various things and to generate a working system. My experience as a mechatronics engineer came after my undergraduate degree in electrical engineering when I went to work at a company called Lexmark, which makes consumer printers and commercial printers. So I designed control systems for printers like the one that you see here. And really my team was sort of like that mechatronics engineering diagram. We were sort of the intersection of many engineering disciplines within my team. And so to make a product like this Lexmark printer, you need electronic chip design, like an ASIC design, which is essentially the processor that the computer that runs the machine. You need firmware, which is the C code or the code that runs on this processing chip that controls the device. You need mechanical design. There's moving parts within this thing. There's gears, there's belts, there's rollers, there's motors. And so mechanical design is necessary to put all these parts together. You need electronics to power the thing. It has a user interface. It has lights and buttons and power supplies. So electronics are necessary. And then this is where my group came in, or where my specialty comes in, is my group took the output of sensors in the machine and figured out what voltage to apply to the motors to make the paper and the ink move smoothly around in the machine. And so this is called control systems. And this will be part of the curriculum that you'll study. Sort of each of these elements will be part of the curriculum that you'll study here at CI if you choose to come here. Why mechatronics engineering? And so the big reason I think is that as the economy is changing, jobs in this area are becoming more and more available and they're high paying. So we think about some of the new technologies that are now driving our economy. We have self-driving cars like the Tesla on the bottom left, unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. So here's the picture of the Amazon Prime delivery drone. And probably less familiar to you, but equally important, I think, is industrial and agricultural automation. So this is a picture of a tractor there on the right that has no driver on it. right? So it's out tending to the crops with, it's a self-driving tractor essentially. And so as we become a more automated society, careers in mechatronics engineering are only going to become more sought after, more high paying. So a program overview for what your field of study is going to look like here at CI. Basically, the first 2 years are going to be common with other engineering fields. So you have a very high mathematics load, so there's lots of calculus, linear algebra, differential equations. There's going to be the introductory computer science curriculum, so you'll learn about C programming, a little bit of algorithms and object-oriented programming. Of course, chemistry and physics are important. And then as you transition into your second and third and fourth year, you'll start to take more and more classes that specialize in engineering disciplines. So you'll take courses on electronics, dynamics, control systems, mobile robotics, embedded systems, things along these lines. I should say that we are hiring additional mechatronics faculty specifically for this major. We've hired one with Mondalali, and then we're going to hire one this spring and then another next spring. So by the time you get here, we'll have basically 2 mechatronics engineers, and by the third year, we'll have a third. And our focus will primarily be on small robotic systems. So think about, automating farm machinery, unmanned aerial vehicles, industrial robots, things along those lines. And we're looking to collaborate, and we are collaborating with local businesses and government installations in the region to help with things like internships and job openings and opportunities after you graduate. So we have lots of local industry which focus on things like unmanned aerial vehicles, Internet of Things. On top of that, we have the local naval base is a huge employer in the region, and they're desperately seeking engineers at this point. So the job opportunities look good for future graduates. This is just a snapshot of some of the core curriculum. It's a bit of a noisy slide. I think probably all of you have received a brochure that has this information on it, but I just wanted to quickly show it, kind of give you a feel for what the sort of 100, 200, 300, 400 level courses might look like. And so you can see there in the first year, the 100 level courses are primarily math, a little bit of programming, and a little chemistry. And then the 200 level courses are your physics courses. We'll introduce a couple mechatronics courses, which are the EMech designation. So that's logic circuits, engineering design, engineering materials. There'll be a classical mechanics course. And then later in your junior year, you'll see courses in electronics, digital system design. So this would be if you're designing, say, that ASIC chip that I showed you, modeling of mechatronic systems, sensors and measurements, embedded systems, mobile robotics, feedback control. And then I think probably the best courses in our major is the senior capstone sequence. And so the EMech 491 and EMech 499 courses is a year-long project where you'll be working in a small team with direct supervision with one of the faculty that I mentioned earlier, where you go through the entire design process from specification to building, testing, and demonstrating at the end. And so I'll show a few pictures of sort of the outcomes of this capstone for our computer science students in just a moment. So the next thing I want to talk about is just the why should you come to study mechatronics engineering at Channel Islands. And everybody loves a top 10 list, so I thought I would kind of do a countdown list here of the top 10 reasons I think you should come study with us. So number 10 is we have pretty much brand new state-of-the-art facilities. So I came here 2 years ago, and I was taught the first courses in our brand new building, Sierra Hall, which is the picture there on the left. Has brand new labs, brand new equipment in the labs that are just a couple years old now. And it's just a wonderful place to come and learn and work. You're going to get numerous opportunities for hands-on work and hands-on learning through projects here. So pretty much right from your freshman year all the way through to that capstone project, you'll be doing hands-on projects, hands-on labs. All of our courses have lab components. As you'll see in just a moment, we have small classrooms, so there's lots of room for hands-on interaction. Here's just a couple examples of some capstone students from our CS students who are a little bit more engineering-minded than CS-minded. So the project on the left there is an autonomous surface sensor. And so these two students built an autonomous self-driving kayak. And the inspiration for this was to patrol marine sanctuaries for illegal fishing. And so they have a number of sensors on board that can detect if fishermen are working in a marine sanctuary and then transmit that data back to, say, the Coast Guard, who could help intervene. And so this is a self-driving autonomous kayak. On the right is a couple students who participated in the Cal State University undergraduate research competition, and their project was related to using a range sensor called a LiDAR sensor to navigate a robot through a maze. And so they built a maze, they built a robot, attached the sensor to it, and then designed algorithms for navigating through mazes. Number 8, small class sizes. So as I mentioned earlier, there's the brand new building. We designed the building to only seat 24 students per lab. And so all of our labs, all of our classes, in fact, are taught in these labs. And so as you're taking courses here, you're never gonna, or you should never be in a CS or Mechatronics course that's greater than 24 students. And so here's a couple examples of what our labs look like. They're arranged with new Mac computers or Dell computers with whiteboards all the way around the room so the professors can drift around and interact with the students while they're working. I should also mention that the incoming class of mechatronics engineers is going to be limited to 24 students. And so you'll be going through the program basically as a small cohort, and mainly due to this small class size that we have. Because of these small class sizes, there's ample opportunities for you to interact with a dedicated faculty. And so our faculty know most all the students by name. We interact with them both in and out of the classroom, in our own research, as well as student projects as well. So one example of that is number 6 here, student competitions. And so last spring I took 20 students to Kennedy Space Center and NASA to compete in a national robotics competition called the NASA Swarmathon. We finished 3rd place. This was a competition where the robots that you see on the right have to drive around autonomously and search for these cubes that they're holding there and then deliver those cubes back to that base area that they're around. And so this was a very large team project, and the students got a real taste of what it's like to really work in a large group setting like that. We have an island that is part of the National Park Service. And on the Santa Rosa Island, we have a dedicated research station for Channel Islands and our professors and students. And it's very common that almost all students go to this research center at least once, if not once a year. There's lots of funding to take the boat ride out there. It's a lot of fun. You see whales and dolphins and all sorts of things on your way there. And then there's lots of opportunity to do projects related to the island. Number 4, our location. So we're located very near the Santa Monica Mountains, as well as the beaches and the Pacific Coast Highway, which leads to Malibu. I think we're about a 10-minute drive from the beach and about a 10-minute drive from a national park that's in the Santa Monica Mountains. I show these 2 pictures because these are 2 pictures that my students have captured with drone aerial photography. And so this is just an example of students working on projects where they're getting real world experience, but we're doing it as a way to kind of give back to the university. So these are part of the university's sort of marketing material, but my CS students who do drone work took these photos. Sort of related to that location is the Southern California weather. So it's pretty much sunny here most of the year. It's in the 70s or 80s most of the year, so which makes a great chance for you to get outside and explore these wonderful areas that we have around the campus. And we have a beautiful campus, as you can see from these photos. Number 2, there's ample opportunity for doing undergraduate research here. And so I led a group last summer of this program that you can see on the right there, which is called the SURF program, which stands for Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship. And so this was a 10-week program where the students are paid a stipend to work under the supervision of faculty on various research projects. And so it's a great way if you're considering going to graduate school to get an opportunity to do undergrad research with professors and sort of build up your experience in that way. And then last but not least, we want you to be part of a community. So I mentioned earlier that we have a small cohort of 24 students who are going to be part of this first program of mechatronics engineering. So you really get to be part of something special here. You're going to get to know all of your students and your professors very well because it's a small cohort, and I think it's really a great chance to be part of something special. And with that, I'll close and we'll take questions related to the program. So this is a question that says, what local businesses and government installations do you work with, and are there plans for summer internships? And that's an excellent question. So, well, the local government installations that we work with is Naval Base Point Magoo, as well as Naval Base Ventura County. And so there's numerous engineering positions that are available there. We have collaborations with researchers there as well. So I'm currently working on a grant proposal with engineers from the base that could involve students as well if we're funded. In terms of local businesses, we have, there's a local company called Air Environment, which is a big producer of unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. There's a lot of agricultural businesses here. Dole, if you've heard of Dole pineapples, they have a facility here. We work with them. There's a local company called Simtech, which develops radio technology that we work with. Regionally, the sort of Southern California region is a hub for aerospace. And so Northrop Grumman is nearby, as well as Aerospace Corporation and others. And so we're developing relationships with these potential employers. And I should say that in terms of the plans for summer internships, we do have, at least our CS majors currently do summer internships. And we have definitely plans to do outreach to employers to set that up also for mechatronics students. And Additionally, we're going to be working with these companies to have industry-specific capstone projects. And so this is a way for you to actually get experience related to area companies, not even as part of the summer internships, but as part of your coursework. And so it'll help sort of tune your senior year so that you become more employable or more enticing for these potential employers as well. We have another question here. Do you know when the program might become accredited? Also, can you please repeat the number of students you're expecting to admit to the program each year? So two good questions. So the first program, or the first question of when do we anticipate becoming accredited? And so ABET accreditation is a very important element of engineering, as the question implies. And as a new program, we are not eligible to apply for ABET accreditation in year one. And that's a rule of ABET. And the way that it works is that over the first 4 years of the program, we will be building the case to become accredited after the first cohort graduates, okay? And so after the first cohort graduates, we'll have all the documentation in place of measuring assessments and all the things that are required for accreditation. And then we will apply for accreditation after that 4th year. And if granted, in which we anticipate it becoming granted, then this first cohort and all the cohorts up until that point will become grandfathered in, which means even though during the 4 years in which you'll be here, we won't officially be accredited, your degree will become an accredited degree, okay? And it'll be recognized by employers as such. Also, the number of students, we're going to admit 24 students each year for the first 4 years. And so we're kind of growing the program incrementally over these first 4 years. Next question is, what is the future of mechatronics engineering? And I'm going to assume that that is meaning the field, or what I see as the field of mechatronics engineering evolving to. And as I sort of implied in the presentation, as we get more and more smart devices where we are embedding computing and communication in more and more devices, the need for this systems level viewpoint of engineering, which is what really mechatronics is providing. It's, you know, the modern day multidisciplinary engineering field will become more and more critical to be able to design and build these types of devices. Are there any other questions specific for me? So there's a question about what would the downside be if the program does not become accredited? So I'll first by saying that we fully expect to become accredited. It's a pretty well-known process that you have to go through to become accredited. We have designed the curriculum with that process already in mind. And so it's largely, the accreditation process is largely hinged upon ensuring that the things that we teach you and the things that you learn and the outcomes of your learning are aligned with what's expected of mechatronics engineers across the country. And as such, we've designed our curriculum, we've designed our courses with that in mind. So we fully anticipate becoming accredited. It's just a matter of going through the necessary steps to do it, which is a 4-year process, basically. The downsides of not, if by chance we were not accredited, there are certain employers that are mandated to only hire accredited engineers. One instance of that is the naval base. And so if your job title with the US Navy is engineer, then it must be that your degree is from an accredited engineering school. And so that's the primary downside. Now, that being said, there are plenty other employers which do not have that requirement. And so along the way, as you're doing internships and industry-related capstones, we'll be building relationships with these local employers who will understand and know what you've learned, and they'll see firsthand what you're capable of. And so for those particular employers who don't have this mandate of requiring an ABET accreditation, then that would still make for viable employment options. But again, we fully anticipate becoming accredited at the end of the first graduating class. Are there any other questions? So maybe we should move on to the next part of the presentation then. And if you have questions for me later, then we can ask those at the end as well.
All right, thank you, Dr. Isaacs. That was really great information. So we're going to kind of switch gears. We're going to talk specifically about a little bit of an overview of CI, a little bit about the requirements, but mainly we're going to talk tonight about the application process for CSU Channel Islands. So it's really great. We have folks in this room in tonight's presentation from up and down the state of California. It's nice to see a representation from up and down the state. And we know that folks here are in different stages of the admission cycle. So we're going to talk specifically about the different cycles and kind of what you can do going forward to apply to CSU Channel Islands. All right, so we'll start with a CI at a glance. So California State University Channel Islands, we're the newest CSU campus. So attending CI, you would be a part of the newest Cal State University. We were founded officially in 2002, so this is our 15th year. In terms of fall 2017, the semester we're in now, that's our largest enrollment in our history. We have our largest class of freshmen currently attending. We were just ranked one of 10 safest campuses in the United States by the USA Today. Some things that you'll see on campus as prospective students, as students attending in the future, we have newer residence halls for first-time freshmen. Santa Rosa Village is our newer residence halls. Traditional dorm-style housing houses about 600 new freshmen at the university, but we can accommodate students for all 4 years. So if you decide to attend CI, you'll have a housing option while you're here at the university. Dining hall, we have expanded our dining hall. It's called Islands Cafe, and it's been tripled in size to accommodate the increase in the number of students here at the university. And as you heard earlier, Sierra Hall, that's one of our new STEM facilities that we have at Channel Islands. And as a prospective mechatronics engineering student, you would spend a lot of time in Sierra Hall. You heard earlier we have a research station on Santa Rosa Island that's available for your use as a student, but really any student can use the research station. And we are a designated HSI, Hispanic Serving Institution. So we're part of a federal program that receives money to recruit, retain, and ultimately graduate Hispanic students from the university. Again, you heard we're really close to the beach, about 10 minutes. You're at your closest beach. You see the average student to faculty ratio, it's about 21 to 1. That's the student to faculty ratio here. So your average class size is about 23. So your class size at the university is very similar to what you would see in the mechatronics engineering major with that 24 student class size. 59% of our students here at CI are first generation college students, so first in their families to graduate from a university. And we have 26 majors and 26 minors currently offered at CSU Channel Islands. So a lot of different programs to choose from. Our location, again, you heard about our wonderful location, located midway between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles, about 30 minutes north of Malibu, about an hour south of Santa Barbara, right in between the 101 highway and Pacific Coast Highway. Great weather, a lot to do in the area. Students are going to Disneyland, Magic Mountain. They're visiting Santa Monica, spending a weekend in Santa Barbara. students are really taking advantage of the unique location. So in terms of freshman admission, basic freshman admission requirements include your A through G college prep courses that you complete in high school. Those A through G classes, those just have to be C- or better for those A through G. We look at what's called the CSU eligibility index, which is a combination of your GPA and your SAT or ACT scores. For CSU Channel Islands, if you have a 3.0 GPA or above, any SAT or ACT score would qualify you for admission. But our eligibility index ranges from 2.99 to 2.0. 2.0 is the minimum GPA that you can have, but anything 3.0 or above, any SAT or ACT score qualifies you for admission. And then of course one of the requirements is that you graduate from high school. So in terms of the application, we are taking applications now for students that are seniors in high school. We are taking applications until November 30th. The big thing there is just don't wait until the last minute to apply. We're finding that the application does take some time, so we're definitely encouraging students to submit their applications sooner rather than later. The application itself is new, calstate.edu/apply or CalState Apply. So you'll see the address listed there. In terms of admission, some things that we don't need. A lot of students think that we need these items, and we really don't. Personal statements, essays, letters of recommendation, extracurricular activities, not required for admission. Good to have that information when you're applying for grants and scholarships, free money to help you pay for school, but not required for admission. We're really just concerned with your high school transcripts and your test scores. So next we're going to talk specifically about the CalState Apply application and kind of give you an overview. And like I said earlier, there are folks in this room that are prospective students. There's folks in this room that have started their CalState Apply applications, and we have a couple folks that have actually submitted their applications. So I'll give you information based on where you're at in the application process. You'll see some information on that in the next couple slides. So again, October 1st to November 30th is when we take freshman applications from seniors in high school. The cost to apply is $55. That's per CSU application. There is a fee waiver that's built into the application. At the end, you can actually say that you'd like to apply for the fee waiver, and it will tell you instantly if that fee waiver is granted. And if we grant the fee waiver, you can apply it up to 4 campuses for free. So it can save you a little bit of money when you're applying. But it is, if you're not receiving a fee waiver, it is $55. New this year, you do have to submit the application fee in order to send in your application. So it either has to be waived or paid when you're ready to submit your application to CI. So what's new in terms of the application? It's now one application that you can submit to multiple campuses. For some of the impacted programs, they may ask you for supplemental applications. Again, CSU Channel Islands is not impacted, so we wouldn't ask you for this information. If you're interested in the EOP application or the Educational Opportunity Program here at CI, that's now part of the CalState Apply application. It'll ask you, are you interested in EOP? You can select if you are interested in that program, and then you'll fill out subsequent questions as part of the CalState Apply application that's now built in. When you're putting in your test scores, you'll see test scores for a number of different programs. You'll see like GRE and GMAT scores. You only have to enter scores for tests that you've taken. So if you want to put in AP credit, or if you have SAT or ACT scores, you really only have to focus on those specific scores. But you will see more scores. Disregard those. You only have to enter SAT and ACT. The A through G matching section, that actually helps you keep track of the courses you've completed in high school, and I'll show you a subsequent screen with that information. That will allow you to see if you're meeting those A through G requirements when you're putting in your high school coursework. And then again, payment must be submitted in order to finish the application. We no longer take a check or money order. You have to either use a credit card to fill out the application, or to submit the fee waiver or a fee waiver, or pay with a PayPal account. You now have the option to use a PayPal account to pay for the application fee. This is the freshman application checklist. These are items that we suggest you have when you're ready to actually submit your application. So you'll notice we want you to have an unofficial copy of your high school transcripts. We want you to make sure you have a copy of your SAT or ACT scores and your AP scores if you have them, or if you've completed AP credit. Your social security number, your citizenship status, a payment method, again, a PayPal account or a credit card, parent citizenship status, your parents' annual income, your parents' employment background, and 2 recommendations if you're interested in the EOP program, and then the California statewide student ID. This one is optional, but sometimes in a few spots it will ask you for this information on your Cal State Apply application. So these are just some of the things that we suggest you have when you're ready to apply. So when you're filling out your applications, you'll be able to select, this is where you'll actually select CSU Channel Islands. You'll see the campus, it says campus name on the screen, but what you'll do is actually select CSU Channel Islands, and then it will show all of our programs. And then you can select Mechatronics Engineering, and you'll see that total fee go from $0 to $55. Once you select all the campuses to which you'd like to apply, you'll see the option on the screen there. It'll light up blue. It'll say, I am done, review my selections. And that will actually let you go forward on the application. So this is where you'll tell the system where you'd like to apply. So the next slide shows you an overview of the application itself. You'll see when you actually go in to fill it out, you'll see a profile and an extended profile as part of the application before you actually go in and complete the application. The profile asks you for basic information about yourself, your name, your email address, your phone number, a username and password. This information is very basic. It will let you actually log into the application itself. The extended profile is basically information about you as a student. So based on how you enter this information, if you put in you're a high school graduating senior with college credit, you'll see specific questions that will be asked as part of the application. So the profile, very basic information. The extended profile, information about your actual student status and what you're coming in as a first-time freshman, you know, with college credit if you have it. These profiles can be modified when you're in the application. So if you want to make any changes, if you accidentally put that you didn't have any college credit but you do, you can go back into the extended profile and make those changes kind of as you go. Going back to what you heard about the application fees, as you enter in multiple campuses, you will see the application fee change. It will update, it will increase as you enter in those schools. You'll see it go from 55 to however much, depending on what, how many programs you apply to. The application consists of what are called quadrants. You'll see them on the screen here. There's 4 quadrants, and the whole goal with these quadrants is to complete them, and you'll see basically a progress meter. And you want to basically complete each of those quadrants. You'll see your progress that you make, and the whole goal is to complete those quadrants. You can click on each of those. You don't have to do them in any specific order. You'll also navigate the application using that left-hand navigation that you see there on the screen. So when you're in each of those quadrants, you'll be able to click through the different tabs to complete your application. And as you complete each of those tabs, you'll see, as it's listed, the high school attended. Once you update each of those tabs, you'll get a little green check mark. That'll tell you that that tab is completed, and the progress meter will show that progress. So this is a little bit of an overview of the application. So applying as a first-time freshman, when you're putting in your high school coursework, you'll be able to indicate if you have any honors or AP or IB courses by selecting that information in the course type. So you'll see the example there, the students entering in their high school courses. They may select an honors class, you know, integrated math 1, they put in their grades, and then you can select if it's an honors, AP, or IB course. If it's a college prep course, all you have to enter is none. And you'll see that on the screen. One thing to note, when you're putting in your high school coursework, you do have to enter it by semester. And we're encouraging students to, as you enter in the coursework, to save it as you go. Unfortunately, there's no functionality in the application that allows the application to auto-save. So definitely want to save that information as you go. If you were to log out and log back in without saving, of course, you'd have to re-enter that information. So it's really important to kind of save as you go and monitor your progress that way. And then the A through G matching section, this will basically, this is functionality that shows you that you've met the different A through G areas. You see them listed there: history, English, math, lab science, language other than English, visual performing arts, and college prep elective. So as you enter in your coursework, you'll be able to match your courses. They should automatically match to the different A through G areas, and you can make sure you're meeting those requirements that way. So that's a little bit about the A through G matching functionality. So you'll see on the next screen, this is the academic history. This is where you'll spend the most amount of your time in the actual application. This is where you enter in information about your high school, your specific coursework, and this is where you match the A through G classes. So this is where you'll spend a lot of time in the application itself. You'll spend the most time in this quadrant. This is the Cal State Apply Freshman Coursework Entry Guide. You'll see a link to it. It is available for students online. You can see the link, but also when you log into Cal State Apply, you'll see a link there as well. This guide will help you when you're filling out your applications. It talks to you about how to enter in specific coursework, things to look for when you're putting in grades, when you're, if you're taking classes at a community college, to meet, A through G requirements. It basically tells you how to enter that information in your application. So having this guide up will answer about 99% of your application related questions. So definitely have this up when you are submitting your application. Next, tips for your application. Citizenship and residency, they are not the same. Residency actually determines the tuition that you'll pay at CSU Channel Islands. So there is a difference between citizenship and residency. We're finding that the application process takes students between 3 and 4 hours to complete. So you heard me mention earlier, you don't want to wait until the last minute. You don't want to wait until November 30th to apply. You can start the application. You can spend time filling out your high school coursework. You can save that and go back to the application. You don't have to fill it out in one sitting. But definitely don't wait until the last minute. It will take you between 3 and 4 hours to complete the application. So make sure you're giving yourself enough time. There is a blue Save and Continue box that will allow you to continue when you're working in the application. If that Save and Continue box is grayed out, that basically means that there's additional information that's required in order for you to move on to another section of the application. So you'll see that the Save and Continue box will be gray. In some cases, you'll also see it'll come up, you'll see that red box there on the right-hand side. That just means that information is missing. You need to enter that information. So you'll see a red box if you need to put additional information in, and then you'll see a Save and Continue box once you can move forward on any given page of the application. Download your submitted application at the end of once you submit it for your record. You can save it actually as a PDF. It's good to have that information once you submit, just so you can reference information that you put on there if need be. Once you apply to CSU Channel Islands, you'll receive a confirmation email from us, basically to indicate that the application was received. And then we will send you a email with information about a web portal called MyCI, which will basically let you track the status of your admission to the university. So we'll send you an email saying, hey, thank you for your application. And then you'll get a follow-up email with access to your MyCI portal. We'll let you track the status of your admission. It'll tell you, if we need anything from you in terms of admission, transcripts, test scores, things like that. Anything related to financial aid will come up in your MyCI account. It will tell you the status of your application, if it's being reviewed, if you've been admitted, that information will be in there. And then you will ultimately accept your offer of admission to CSU Channel Islands if you're admitted and you decide to attend. You'll go into your MyCI account and tell us that you'd like to attend. So we use email and your MyCI portal as our 2 forms of communication. So definitely check your email often and check your MyCI portal often as well. So help in the application. There are a number of ways to receive help when you're filling out your application. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner of the application, you'll see your name and what's called a CAS ID number. This CAS ID number is unique to you. It's unique to the Cal State Apply application system. If you're contacting the application tech support, you'll want to provide them with your CAS ID number so that they can assist you further. It's not an ID number. It's only an ID number for the Cal State Apply application. So you can click on the blue question mark on the upper right-hand corner. You'll see email and FAQ page that you can click on. You can either email Cal State Apply for assistance. They'll get back to you within about 24 to 48 hours. Or you can go into the instructions and FAQ page where you can find specific instructions about the different pages of the application. And then when you're in the application itself, you'll also see some videos that you can watch. They kind of guide you on how to fill out the different information in the application. So you can see that there as well. And a new function for this year for students applying through Cal State Apply, we have a live chat feature that students can use. And you can actually have a person there in live chat that you can ask questions to while you're filling out the application. So it can save you, having to call or email. You can just get those questions answered in real time. So a number of different ways to receive help when you're submitting your Cal State Apply applications. So we know that, again, there's folks in this room that are prospective students. We have students that are in the process of applying, and we have students that have already submitted applications. So if you're still considering CSU Channel Islands, you can go back to the Mechatronics webpage for more information. You can contact the department directly. You'll see Jason, Dr. Isaac's email there. You can contact him directly. You can review the Mechatronics coursework. And again, we want you to apply to our university, so don't forget to apply. You'll see again the application November 30th, 11:59 p.m. So if your application's in process, if you're filling that out currently, there's some things that we want you to consider. Again, if you have any questions about the application, you can have those questions answered by Cal State Apply Technical Support. If you have any admissions related questions, you can contact our admissions and recruitment office. You'll see our admissions email address is listed there. Definitely good to have that reference guide for the freshman coursework entry with you when you're ready to submit that application. Again, can answer a lot of the questions that you may have about the application. And then we definitely want you to come check us out. We offer campus tours and campus preview days. You can come and take a campus tour and get an admissions presentation, get more information about the university. It's a great way to see us and see if we're a best fit for you. Lastly, for students that have already applied to the university, again, we want you to activate your MyCI web portal to track your admission status. Check your email often. If you're admitted to the university, we will send you what's called a freshman enrollment guide. The enrollment guide basically shows you all of the steps that you need to complete in order to accept your admission offer and start here at CSU Channel Islands. So the enrollment guide is mailed to you as part of your admission offer. You definitely want to follow along in the enrollment guide as you're going through the admission process. If you're admitted, you do have to complete the 3-step intent to enroll process no later than May 1st. So you want to make sure you complete the 3-step intent to enroll process that's outlined in that enrollment guide. And if you have any questions about that, again, you can contact our admissions office. And again, we want you to take, as a student that's applied, we want you to, if you can, definitely sign up for a campus tour or a preview day.